Hello everyone and welcome to The Sims 2 for the PS2. None of that PC version nonsense with its free-form gameplay and open objectives. We want predetermined objectives. That's what we're here for. You may think I'm being sarcastic, but no, I do actually prefer the console versions of the Sims games for what they do differently from the PC versions. Not that the PC versions are bad, but they're a little bit harder for me to get into. The first thing you have to do to play story mode is actually create a sim, and there are a lot of customization options, but we're just going to click the random button and see what pops up, and whatever pops up, we're going to stick with it. We're gonna choose the name still, but we're going to try and find an appropriate name for what the guy ends up looking like. I enjoy that they determine what you look like based on a family tree, though. That's actually kind of interesting to watch. It takes a long time for many actions in this game to be performed, but that's either because the PS2 couldn't handle The Sims 2, or they didn't know how to optimize it for the PS2. So this is our sim. I kinda like how he turned out. He looks like a pretty cool guy to me. He comes with his own aspirations. Romance seems good. He comes with his own aspirations and personality, and we're gonna leave those as they are too. Because after all, the personality is basically the whole sim, isn't it? They're nothing without a personality. But I mean, even though I said that, it's kind of a lie because the personality mostly determines how they act in free will mode. And you'll see that's not a big deal in this game. So, this guy looks like a Jared to me. And I tried to name him Jared, but I accidentally typed it in way too fast. So instead we got Jard. That's fine, we'll stick with Jard. Now I wanted his last name to be Blaine, so we're still gonna put that in. Unfortunately, I accidentally pressed A. So, we end up with a guy named Jard Blaine. Yeah, I could have backspaced, but we're doing this all natural. That seems good to me. Let's get our adventure started. Oh, hold on. We need to go through the lengthy saving process. So anyway, after that eventually stops doing that, we are at our first location, which I can't remember the name of, but I'm sure I will remember it later, long after it stops being relevant. And this is basically the tutorial location, where we figure out how the game works, how it controls, and what we can do. First things first, I'm going to go in the options menu and change the way the camera rotates, but you might notice that we're not controlling a cursor, we're controlling the actual sim itself directly. And this is by far my favorite thing about The Sims 2 on console, is that I can directly move the character around. I know that may seem weird, but telling my Sims what to do with a cursor just didn't work out for me. That vertical bar to the left there on the screen is our wants. We need to progress all of our golden wants in order to move to the next location, and our first golden want is to take a shower because we are stinky. All the other green wants under the golden want, those are optional, but they will still improve our Sim's happiness. As soon as we fulfill a gold want, it's immediately replaced with another, and we will never stop getting gold wants until we finish the game, so you have a pretty clear outline of what to do, just not how you do it. Right now we're just learning how to interact with various objects. Now, this trampoline is meant to give us fun, but there's a much easier way to get fun, and it's not as difficult to cancel out of. To cancel out of an action, we have to press triangle. But your sim does not always stop doing things immediately, so I tend to smash the triangle button repeatedly, which is what you're hearing right now. Our next golden one is to meet new people, and although this is the tutorial location, we're going to use it to grind a bit, because grinding is very important later in the game, so we might as well get a head start. One of the ways we need to grind is making multiple friends, because you need friends to get job promotions. That may sound weird, but it's true. One of the benefits of using direct control mode is that we can choose exactly what our sims say or do to the other person, so that way they don't manage to fuck it up. If you use indirect control mode and tell them to talk with a cursor instead, then yeah, they can totally screw it up. We gain relationship points for every positive action we perform, and we need to get to 40 relationship points before we make a new friend, and make a new friend is our current gold once, so we're going to make friends with Felicity. We're going to make friends with this sim. There are a lot of dialogue options to choose from, and they all have various failure and success rates, and they all have humorous animations. But talk is the safe one. Unless your sim's personality is absolutely nasty, it's really hard to screw up interacting by talking. Soon after you start getting positive relationship points, you will unlock compliment, which adds a whole 6 to your relationship points, so I just tend to spam that until it stops working, because it's the quickest way to get their friendship all the way up to 40. Where they will actually consider you a friend. We're not going to stop as soon as we get her as a friend, though. We're not going to stop as soon as we get her as a friend, though. We need to make sure they stay our friends, which means we're going to try and get everyone that we meet in this first location all the way up to 100. The reason we're being so thorough is because it's very possible to lose friends in this game, and not just by being a jerk, but if you don't hang out with someone for a little bit, then they abandon you. And a little bit is a little bit. We're talking like 2 days. Maybe I don't have a great understanding of how social interaction works or something, but 2 days seems like a really short period of time to lose connection with someone. I mean, I'm pretty sure people are friends when they haven't seen each other for years. Now, normally I'm going to be editing through most of the game because it's very repetitive, but I'm showing you this interaction right here because every time we make friends, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, so you're not going to see this anymore. It gets a little bit out of control when you try to juggle 13 friendships at a time by doing the exact same thing over and over, but I've played JRPGs, I can handle this. But seriously though, maintaining all of the relationships is probably the most difficult or one of the most difficult parts of the game because of time management. Sometimes when you choose an option, the Sims simply won't do it, even though they'll act like they were going to, and I don't know what causes that, but this game is far from glitch-free. Anyway, this song and dance keeps going until we reach 70 points, at which point she just gives up and walks away. So we're gonna skip a little bit. The only reason Sims will stop talking is if one of their needs gets so bad that they have to perform it or else something terrible happens. Our needs are still pretty decent though. Jesus, the radio is loud. As I said, this is the tutorial section, so our next gold one is just to pick up the trash and deposit it in the trash can, in case you couldn't figure out how to do that by yourself. Now, of course, we can fast forward any action in the game, and we're going to be fast forwarding every action after the tutorial ends. And the actual tutorial is going to end very soon, because next we have a platinum one, and after you complete a platinum one, you can move to the next location. But my tutorial isn't over, even if the game's tutorial is. I still have more things I want to show you to optimize your playthrough of The Sims 2 PS2. Or rather, what we're going to do to optimize my playthrough. So you may have noticed that the platinum one is to buy a bed, but that's silly and stupid, and allow me to explain why. You don't ever need to sleep in this game. Never, ever, ever. Because they forgot how to game balance. You can buy an espresso machine and keep making coffee until the end of time, and you will never ever have to sleep. This is the biggest time saver in the entire game and cuts the playtime down significantly because sleeping takes so long and wastes so much of your time. Second exploit, we're gonna buy a boombox. Now there are many ways to fill up fun, but they also forgot to balance how that works, so you can just dance to music over and over, and your fun will fill up all the way. You might wonder why I bought a boombox when there's already a boombox in the house, and the answer is that I forgot. There will even be a dialogue box that pops up to tell you, hey, I'm not having fun dancing anymore, but that's a lie, because your fun need will continue to fill up regardless of whether you're done having fun. You're done having fun when I say you're done having fun, Jard. So now we have our needs menu up over there on the left, as you can see. And the needs are pretty basic stuff. You need to eat, you need to have fun, you need to poop, you need to talk to people, and so forth. Comfort is a tricky one, but we'll find a way to optimize comfort just as with everything else. The needs are completed differently, however, because some needs fill up all the way whenever you try to fill them. For example, your bathroom need, that's filled up every time you use the bathroom. It doesn't stop halfway. Unless someone interrupts you mid-pee, which can happen for some reason, you wouldn't figure that would be possible. There's not much nuance to the peeing mechanics in this game, unfortunately. You just tell your sim to pee and that's what it does. There is nuance to one of the other mechanics, which I'm going to show off right now, and it's one of my favorites in the game. When we go to make food, we can actually make food by combining different ingredients that we find in the fridge. We have to wait for the ingredients to load first, but we can see the impact they will have on us right next to their names, their energy, hunger, bladder, and price. I usually go for minimum bladder because I don't want to have to run to the bathroom again. Those stats also mean, though, that you can refill your energy like you can by sleeping by also eating food. But there's no reason to worry about that when you have a coffee machine, because coffee refills your energy much better. Now, depending on what appliances you have in your kitchen, you can cook different things with the ingredients. You get different recipes depending on how exactly you make the food, and you can look up your recipes in the menu. You can also make food that will give you special properties, like make you better at romance, or make you better at getting job promotions. But to do that, you need to buy items to harvest special ingredients from. And I don't know, are we really going to spend money on that? I don't think so. Your Sims eat really slow. All the animations in this game are kind of slow, which is what the fast forward button is for. Sometimes they will get stuck in their animations when you press fast forward, which is really bad. They always eventually break out of their stuck animations, though, and we're still going to be using fast forward for most of the game, because otherwise it would be unbearable to watch. Instead of throwing dishes away, you can wash them, which seems a lot more economic to me. My next mission was to socialize some more, but it seems like Aussie and Aussie and our other friend are talking, which means we can't interrupt them to join a three-way conversation or anything like that. We just have to wait. And while we're waiting, we might as well buy that bed that the game really wants us to buy. After we buy this bed, we can officially leave this location and go somewhere less tutorial-y, but we're not going to do that. We're going to get as much grinding out of this place as possible. Money, relationships, and skills are the three most important things to progress through the game. And you need skills to get money anyway, so it's mostly money and relationships. After we buy a bed, the game warns us about the fire code, which we can see in buy mode. It's a little graph with a red line filling up to the top of the house. The closer it is to the top, the more likely your house is to catch on fire. So we're just going to go ahead and buy a smoke alarm. The smoke alarm instantly summons firefighters. You know, like some kind of horrible witchcraft. So now that we finished the tutorial, the game informs us we can switch any time to cursor control mode. And I guess if you really wanted to control your sim with a cursor like in the PC games, now you can do that. But I'm not sure why I would want to do that. Anyway, it's time to switch formats to the format we're going to be using for the rest of the game, which is an overview format heavily edited, because the game is incredibly repetitive and going through all of this in real time, it's just not possible. Okay, it's not possible for an information-based LP. If you wanted to go for a more humor approach, I'm sure it's definitely possible, and I've seen a few Let's Plays that do this successfully. But that's not me, that's not who I am. There's one final bit of information I wanted to get across, and it's that you can perform actions while you're sitting, and sitting raises your comfort. But now that you know that, let's change formats and get into the meat of what's happening here. We spend a while dicking around on the couch, in the shower, and even going to bed briefly because it takes forever for Aussie and Felicity to stop doing things so we can actually talk to them. It may seem like a waste of time to stare creepily at Aussie while he takes a shower while we wait to talk to him, but we don't have a job yet, so we're good. I keep pinballing between the two because I want one of them to talk to me, but Felicity pisses herself and then goes to take a shower, so none of them are giving me my social needs right now. All our waiting pays off when we skyrocket our friendship with Aussie all the way up to 70 on our first interaction, and having 2 friends will get us at least a few promotions when we do get a job. We completely flood the bathroom and destroy the toilet while waiting for the newspaper to arrive so we can get said job, and we try to clean up our mess but we get kicked out because someone has to crap. This just serves as an excuse to introduce another mechanic later though, so I'm not really complaining. When the newspaper gets here, we just take the first job available to us because that's just how Jard rolls, and it happens to be law, which I think requires the least amount of friends, so that works out because it decreases the difficulty of the game a lot. You may also have noticed that some dork named Timmy showed up at our house in the background, so we have to torture him by making him our best friend. Having 3 friends already at the start is really good because if I recall correctly, the maximum number of friends you need for law is 8. The bathroom continues to be completely destroyed. And you get to see the coffee machine in action. We only brew 2 cups of coffee and our energy fills up almost completely. Sleeping is such a waste of time. After fulfilling more basic needs, we buy a weightlifting machine because we need to fill up our body skill in order to get a promotion at law. And our first skill point we get rather quickly because it is the first skill point. They practically hand that one to you. And then we spend a really long time just sitting on the couch to raise comfort because we don't have enough money to buy an actual comfortable chair yet. The bathroom continues to be completely destroyed, and then it's work time. Now, our mood is over halfway positive, and we did get that body skill, so when he gets back... And yep, we already have our first promotion, which means we get more money and a bonus, but let's not rely on the bonuses, alright? So we just have to build up more of our body skill, because the first few promotions are really simple. We have enough money now to buy a more comfortable chair, which will get its own character arc later, so look forward to that. And then we buy a phone so that way we can call friends instead of losing them, which is the quickest way to maintain friendships. Not talking to them in person, that's silly. I'm not being sarcastic either, seriously, talking to them in person is a waste of time. The bathroom continues to be completely destroyed. Due to the awkward job scheduling, we couldn't build our body skill in time, so we had to wait a couple of days, which put our friendship with Timmy in danger, but now that we talked to him again, he's all the way up at 50. And now that we're really good friends, he comes to yell at us while we exercise. I was gonna make a joke about sitting out in this really nice chair outside while it's raining, but that actually seems like a nice idea to me. The rain can be comforting in small doses, and we do have a hat. Felicity is the first person whose relationship status we get to 100. I'm hoping the first of 3 in this tutorial level, but we'll see. We can't get it past 100 either. This is as far as it goes. The bathroom continues to be complete.